Hi! So I just finished working out and I am feeling incredibly well but incredibly crusty. So hi, how are ya? I hope you're well. Yeah, so I posted this poem before and I deleted it because it had some swear words and I almost got in trouble. But it's fine, I have revised it. But I wasn't gonna repost it just because, you know, it's like a personal subject and not one I like to talk about, blah blah blah. But I don't know, recently there have been some people making comments about my weight and like my body in negative ways. So that's kind of rude, not gonna lie, but it happens, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a person that supports body positivity. I don't know why anyone would not. And yeah, so I'm just gonna repost this poem and hopefully it'll do something for you. I don't know. I hope you take something from this and be nice to people and be nice to yourself and be nice to trees. I'm just gonna start the poem now. Thanks! Wait. 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 This is as often as I hear this word in every form. It's been this way for the entirety of my existence. But wait, there's more. It began in my youth. At 7 years old, my father closed the bag of chips before I had finished and invited me on a run with him before it became a chore. This was the first ache in my chest, felt with confusion, as I heard him express his worries for my growing body, but wasn't I supposed to grow? You aren't supposed to teach kids about restrictions. You are supposed to teach them how to count and read, but it seems like I learned about calories before I knew how to count them, and I learned I was heavily burdened with labels before I learned how to read them. By the time I entered middle school, I knew how many calories were in 15 chips, 150 to be exact. But after 50 chips, I didn't know that it was frowned upon to eat more than 10. Anything over 100 calories equals more than 10 minutes jumping the sweaty ropes in the gym. These are the equations I attempted to solve in my head, and maybe that's why I became so good at math. I couldn't solve my problems, but at least I could solve math problems. I walked through crowded corridors. It seemed as though there wasn't room for me with the extra weight I had acquired from extra servings of chips. Comments, judgments, words, thoughts, they were pressed against my sides like arms meant to strangle rather than embrace, and I didn't want anyone to see, so I swallowed my defenses and I gained more weight. But hatred is poison, and my body's initial response was a form of survival, so my body tried to throw it up. It was uncontrollable. You think it was my fingers down my throat, but it was theirs as I choked and gasped, and it burned. It really burned. This was my first attempt to burn calories, to engulf their energetic pounds in flames, to watch the crumbs crumble into ashes, and the devil smiled as he created a living hell within me. But wait, there's more. My second attempt to burn calories was an attempt to run from my problems. It was no longer a chore to run 3 miles, it was an encouragement and an answer when they asked me how I lost the burden of those cursed chips. Don't tell them you threw them up before throwing them away. Don't tell them you've made songs to the rumbles of your belly when you haven't eaten in 2 days. Don't tell them you've forgotten the way it feels to be full. Tell them you run. What a beautiful privilege it is to run like the wind. But I got cold in the breeze. And the burning against my muscles and lungs and throat were only a few of the methods I used to try to keep myself warm. But eventually I stopped running when I could no longer take 60 steps without nearly collapsing on the side of the road, and I began to confuse the shortness of breath and racing heart with my constant anxiety attacks, and this was when my pace began to slow. And I begged for my paths to reach the finish line before I had even started. But wait, there's more. I would hold my breath, suck in, because I didn't know you had to breathe to stay alive, but if I'm being honest, I didn't really want to be. I was asked what my 2 biggest fears were, and it wasn't until my answer consisted of myself and food that I realized I was living a horror that brought life to monsters that ate away my existence. You are what you eat. So I guess I was nothing. Wait, there's more. I remember falling in love with the boy. I remember the way his hair fell over his eyes. I remember the way he spoke my name and it became my favorite song. I remember the way I allowed him to determine my perceptions of myself. I remember the way he told me that I was not pretty enough. I remember the way he told me I was not skinny enough. And I remember looking at my skin and thinking that I had to carve horizons with bleeding sunsets into the surface because I wasn't enough. But wait, there's more. I wanted to lose the weight for love, so I thought I had to lose weight for love. I thought if there was more room between my thighs, there would be room for someone to love me there. I thought if they saw my bones, they would realize that I am human, I can break too. I thought if I had a smaller waist, then I wouldn't be such a waste of space. Space. But wait, there's more space. Who cares? Who cares if my stomach spills over the seams of my world? Who cares if my stomach is as big and round as Pluto? Screw you, NASA! Pluto is large enough to be a planet. My stomach is large enough to be a planet. And like a planet, my stomach possesses the power to produce and give life. So who cares? I mean, they didn't care when I couldn't consume more than 400 calories without hating myself. They didn't care when I began to shed hair like a dog. A female dog, to be exact. Because I am a female, and that's why my mood swings gave my grandmother whiplash before I turned down her Thanksgiving dinner. They didn't care when I saw my ribs that caged my aching heart. They didn't care when my eating disorders became a success story. So why would they care if my recovery becomes a "what happened to her figure" story? I thought they only cared about you if you were dying or sad, but it seems as though they only care about the quickest way to lose 5 pounds. 17,500 calories, 117 servings of your favorite chips. My dad told me to stop eating chips. But yesterday I was able to eat 2 servings of chips with my friends. The calculator still clicks in pounds against my skull, but now I can almost ignore it and focus on my problems rather than those cursed math problems. It was 300 calories. But wait, there's more. I am a world of life and power, a planet of poetry and music that heals the broken limbs of trees. Storms bleed against the sky and mountains haunt the surface of my cratered flesh, but I can climb these mountains with the help of my beautiful body and the stars against the darkness. Back down to 1 mile, I can breathe again. I don't feel so empty. They still wonder why I have gained weight. But I have gained so much more than numbers, and the calculators of scales and calories of chips still exist. But wait, there's so much more to me than my weight.